Well, Boomer Esiason is brought to you by McFarland Energy, the home heating, oil, and HVAC pros that Greater Boston and the Cape depend on at McFarlandEnergy.com. By Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh. By Town Fair Tire for the best prices on tires. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. And Boomer is also brought to you by your New England Kubota tractor dealers. And he joins us this morning, as he always does on Mondays, on the Harbor One Hotline. Hey, Boomer.
Hey, good morning, everyone. By the way, I hate these Monday mornings after the Patriots lose, especially losing two in a row at home.
Yeah. All right, first time since 2001 that a Bill Belichick coached New England Patriots team starts the season at 0-2. Wiggy was on that team.
It's a pretty good year.
It was. Turned into a good year. It did. I don't know about this year, though.
Wow, Wiggy, what about your high school football team? You guys 0-2 as well?
Yes, we are.
All right, so you guys are parallel with the Patriots right now, so you're used to this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I told you last week at this very sitting that Miami is a very fast team, and if you watch this game closely last night, you saw the evidence of that and just how fast Miami is and how good Tua Tagovailoa is, especially when he gets into rhythm. So the fact that the Patriots lost, I thought they were going to win the game last night going into it, but Miami proved me wrong because, man, I'll tell you what, they have so much speed, and with the injuries in the secondary of the Patriots, there's no way that you could stay with them.
It's like they just can't get the offense going until the fourth quarter, or late in the game, Boomer.
Well, yeah, that's the other part of it. I don't think they ran the ball very effectively last night. I thought that the defensive line, I think Chris Collinsworth was saying this all game long, that the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins, who got manhandled last week by the Chargers, came out and played. And even the halftime interview with Mike McDaniel basically alluded to that he saw guys that were hustling, that play that Douglas fumbles on and Bradley Chubb comes running down the field to force the fumble. I think that's really what it comes down to. Those types of plays are the difference in these games, especially when the teams are close. I thought Miami was a better team just because of the speed going into the game. I just figured that Bill would have a way to slow them down. I guess 24 points is kind of slowing them down, but if you're going to wait until the fourth quarter to go to your no-huddle offense, and most of your passes are going to be under 10 yards, you're not going to create a lot of big plays with your own offense.
Boomer, you and I are both offensive guys. I mean, we know going into games, you're always looking to get explosive passing plays in the passing game, 20 yards or more. This New England Patriots team, zero explosive plays. How frustrating would that be for you as a quarterback to know that everything you're throwing is under, 15 yards when you start to look at their passing game?
Well, Jermaine, there's a reason for that, and I'm telling you, it's speed. Instead of having 4-3 guys, you have 4-5, 4-6 guys, and the opposing team, if you're not tricking them or fooling them, can stay with your guys. And a couple times I saw deep throws. It wasn't like they weren't trying to do that. But to me, it seemed like those guys were all covered, or a ball was underthrown by Mac Jones that led to an interception. So, again, this whole entire league is built on speed, and the dynamic speed that a guy like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle bring to the game completely put the defense on their heels. The Patriots don't have anybody like that. They have good, solid players, don't get me wrong. But those solid players are not amongst the top 10 when it comes to explosive plays. Like if you watch Bijan Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons, you see a kid that is just basically on a different level when it comes to everybody else, when it comes to quickness and speed. It's a la Barry Sanders back in the day. Tell me one guy on the Patriots roster that can mirror that type of talent, that type of explosion. They just don't have it.
Boomer, speaking of Tyreek, he said that the Patriots fans are the worst in the league. Nasty fans, I believe, is what he called Patriots fans. Do you feel like you hear that a lot from around the league, that Patriots fans just have this terrible rep?
I think if you ask Sauce Gardner who the worst fans in the league are this morning, he'd probably tell you Jet fans, his own fans. I mean, this goes in and out. I mean, it's back and forth. I don't know what the Patriot fans were yelling at him. I know that a lot of fans try to get themselves involved, and I know they say a lot of unkind things to a lot of players. We see that throughout all sports, by the way. It's not just football. And sometimes these guys bring it on themselves. I mean, their off-the-field behavior sometimes catches the fans' eyes, and the fans will basically let the player know about it, and they're trying to get him off his game. So that doesn't surprise me that a Miami Dolphin, and especially Tyreek Hill, would say that, but these games are emotional. These fans are tied into it like I've never seen before. I'm sitting there on the NFL Today yesterday, and the Giants are getting hammered at halftime. I have half of my Giant fan friends are texting me, fire Brian Dable, fire Brian Dable. I'm like, my God, we're week 2. They went to the playoffs last year, and look at what Daniel Jones did in the second half. He came back and won. So it's not surprising, Courtney, at all.
Speaking as you were of your Jets, are you over mourning the loss of Aaron Rodgers yet, or do you think he's going to be back, as he sort of alluded to with Pat McAfee?
All right, there's no way he's coming back this year. I mean, he'll come back next year, but not this year. There's just no physical way for him to be able to do this. And I know he's pointed, and I know this guy, Neil Elatraj, the doctor out there, know him personally. I know he's a great doctor. I know he did a particular type of surgery on Aaron's Achilles. It's not experimental surgery. It's surgery that actually has worked with younger players where they've gotten back within 5.5 to 6 months. But he's 39 years old, and he's not a miracle worker. I don't care if it has to do with a darkness retreat or ayahuasca or anything else.
What about the dolphin sex noises?
Yeah,
That's the new one, Boomer.
I know. Believe me, we'll be playing that this morning here in New York. But he gives us content all the time, just like he does Pat McAfee, so it's great. But there's no way he's come. There's no physical way that he would be able to come back. And even if he did, let's just say he did miraculously somehow come back for January football. At the current state of the Jets and their offense, does anybody think at this moment that they are a playoff team? I think not.
No.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I saw in the game last night, Boomer, is when you start to see this Patriots offense, it almost seems like they perform better in the no-huddle situation. But can you sustain that in the National Football League? I mean, you can get away with it in college, but is that something that you can sustain throughout a full game in the National Football League?
You know, Wig, I don't think you were born at this time, but in the mid-'90s, I did every game like that, and we did every game like that in Cincinnati. It was total no-huddle all the time, and then late in my career, when I went back to Cincinnati, the last 5 games, I basically won at a speed that nobody had ever seen before, and we were averaging like 33 points a game in 1997 at the end of that season. So, yes, you can do that. I think was one of the things, if you watch, you guys probably didn't watch it, but the Cowboy Jet game, they were talking about, Tony Romo was talking about the speed at which the Cowboys were in and out of the huddle, and that was one of the things that Mike McCarthy was doing different this year for them as opposed to under Kellen Moore, their offense coordinator the last few years. It can happen, and you can do it. You just have to have a quarterback that is totally locked in on his offense, which I think Dak is right now for the Cowboys, which I think Tom Brady was when he was with Josh McDaniels up there in New England, and, of course, when he was with Bruce Arians down there in Tampa. So the quarterback's got to be locked in, and I think Mac's getting there. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of that because that's another way that you can generate some big plays, and that is by catching the opposing defense, sleeping a little bit or offside or just not aware of how quick you're going.
Boomer, not to blame the refs for how that one ended, but in your mind, do you think they got it right for overturning that first down call?
They did, unfortunately, because it is replay. So the refs on the field really have no control over that. That's a booth replay. That was an amazing play by Gesicki and Strange. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, it was really heady football. Those players did something that very few players would have the wherewithal to do when you're thinking about where you are in the game, what the situation is. That tells me that everybody's locked in. It just also tells me that, if you're asking an offensive lineman to make a first down on fourth down where you need it the worst, you definitely have problems with offensive players making plays for you.
Question of the week for Boomer, brought to you by McFarland Energy, the trusted source in Greater Boston and North Shore and all of Cape Cod when it comes to home heating oil delivery and HVAC work. And Boomer, the Patriots, Chargers, Bengals, Texans, Cardinals, Broncos, and Bears all start the season 0-2. I think only 4.3% of the teams that do make the playoffs. So the question is, which one of those is most likely to be a playoff team?
That's a really good question. I wish I could give you the answer. I at this point, I don't know. All I know is that the The Patriots have lost 2 home games, which is just crushing. It really is crushing, and they've already lost a game within the division. They have to win next week down in New York, and they have to beat the Jets with Zach Wilson at quarterback. I know that Bill Belichick has given him fits last year. I would suspect that would be the same again this week. But then they got to go to Dallas. Then New Orleans is coming to town. New Orleans is a very good team. I mean, they have a very, very difficult schedule. And then when you look at the back end of their schedule, you're looking at, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, Buffalo. I don't see the Patriots making it at this point.
Yeah, I would probably go Chargers if I had to pick one of those teams out of
Man,
those
that
two.
defense, guys, they can't get a stop if
Right.
they hit them in the face. I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row, and you go back to last year. They average about 30 to 31 points in their last 4 games, and they're 0-4 in those 4 games. So whatever they're paying Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa is way too much because they're just not generating enough pressure for them. So I tend to disagree with you there, Wiggy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Boomer. Well, we will we'll talk to you again next week, and hopefully things will be better around.
Man, it's a
around
pick
here.
up the pieces Monday. That's what it is, boys and ladies. Thank you.
And Dolphin sex noise. Pick up the pieces Monday. That's what it
Yes.
is. Yes.
All right, guys.
All
have a
right.
great day.
Yeah.
See ya.